Hi everyone, what's up? Okay, did you know that this app that we use every single day, most of people use it here in Brazil, the WhatsApp, more commonly called Zap or even Zap Zap, right? So it was named after this expression, what's up? What's up? Is a greeting used in informal situations by native speakers. So, what about if we try to use this expression in an informal way, of course, more frequently? So, when I say, what's up? What do you answer? Huh? No? When I say, what's up? You answer, what's up? Yeah, right? So, what's up? What's up? Cool, great. So, we are going to talk today about traveling.
Oh, I love traveling. Actually, I miss traveling a lot. I'd like to be traveling by now. Oh, I remember my last trips.
Okay, so we are going to talk about traveling. We're going to cover some reading skills, as I told you in previous class that we're talking about listening skills. Today we're going to work with reading skills and also a little bit of grammar, because everybody loves grammar, right? Great. So the topic of grammar today is present perfect. Yeah, just like you, babe. Perfect.
Why, sir, I'm flattered.
All right, so we are going to start right now. Please get your tickets and get on board with me. Boom, boom.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain comfortably seated as we'll begin boarding shortly. You can help us expedite the boarding process by keeping the entryway clear until your row is called.
Hi, everybody. Do you mind if I squeeze through? I'm just operating the flight, please.
I don't think so.
We would like to offer a courtesy boarding to those customers traveling with children under the age of 2
Hi.
and those customers
Sorry.
needing additional
Excuse me.
assistance.
Oops, sorry.
We will now continue boarding with rows 20 and higher.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, sir, we're only boarding rows 20 and higher.
What about now?
No, you're sitting in row 14, so in a few minutes.
I'll come back.
That's great. Thank you.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. We're not boarding as of yet.
But it's my seat.
No.
Hi.
Not yet, sir.
So cold in here. This is...
All right, you probably have listened to that many times while you're traveling, when you are at the airport. But what are the other kinds of transportation we can take to go somewhere? All right, we're talking about airport, so it comes to your mind airplanes or just planes. We can also travel by car, by bus, by train, by ship. What else? Some people can travel biking. All right, it's up to you. If you have strong legs, good luck. All right, but when you travel, we generally have a bag with us, like this, right? Yes, this is my traveling bag. So, and when you travel, what do you have with you? What do you take with you in your trip? I always have with me in my bag when I travel something very important for me. Do you have an idea? No. My brush, of course.
Otherwise, how could I brush my hair?
So I always have my brush. Can you repeat? Brush. Brush. I also always have my toothpaste. Toothpaste. Yeah. My toothbrush to brush my teeth. Okay. And I also have my shampoo always with me. And what else I have here? I have my ID. My ID. And if it's necessary, if it's needed, my passport. Passport. Okay? All right. What else do I have here? I have a lot of stuff. Let's see. My scissors to cut my nails, right? While you're traveling. Then I have my charger, a lamp, what else I have? I have here my pillow. Yeah, I also have here a hat, okay, what else I have here? Toilet paper, what else I have here? Yeah, a lamp, alright, what I have here? A plant, yes, everything that is necessary to travel, right? And what else I have here? A teapot, right? What else is necessary? Maybe some clothes, I have a t-shirt, some clothes, and wear clothes, and here more clothes, and more, and I also have here, a blanket, yeah, in case it gets cold, right? And finally, my wallet. I need it. My wallet. Where about you? What do you always have in your bag or in your suitcase when you travel? What are the most important things you take with you when you travel?
Eu só levo meu corpo, meu talento e a confiança, né?
Alright, talking about traveling, what was your best vacation? Not even the last vacation you had. Think about it. My best vacation was when I traveled to Argentina. It was amazing. I went to Buenos Aires, I went to Tigre, I went to Mendoza, and I also went to Uruguay. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. But there, I just went to Montevideo. What about you guys? What was your best vacation? Where did you go? Who went with you? What kind of a vacation was it? And why was it so good? These are the questions that you're going to use to write a paragraph about your best vacation, right? I want you to do the activity 1 when we finish this video and answer these questions, writing as a text. All right? So, what are the questions? Where did you go and who went with you? What kind of vacation was it? And why was it so good? Explain this, writing this paragraph. Have you ever heard about voluntarism? No? Yeah, that's new for me too. So we're going to read a very interesting text talking about tourism and being a volunteer. Yeah, you can join both things. But before we go to this text, I'd like to talk about some very important reading tips. Here we go. First, when we have a reading activity or a reading text, what do we generally do? We generally read the text and answer the questions.
Of course!
But how can we save time and be more effective while doing reading activities? To do so, we're going to use two reading techniques, skimming and scanning. Skimming is a reading technique that can help you read more quickly and decide if the text is interesting and whether you should read it in more detail. You can use the skim technique when you want to identify the main ideas in a text. You skim a text to obtain the main idea, the overall sense of a text, of a piece of writing. This can help you decide whether to read it more slowly or in more detail. How do you skim read? When you use the skimming technique, you don't read the whole text word for word. You should use as many clues as possible to give you some background information. There might be pictures or images related to the topic, or an eye-catching title. Let your eyes skim over the surface of the text and look out for keywords while thinking about any clues you have found about the subject. Read the title, subtitles, subheadings to find out what the text is about. Look at the illustrations to give you more information about the topic. Read the first and the last sentence of each paragraph. Don't read every word or every sentence. Let your eyes skim over the text and look out for keywords. Continue to think about the meaning of the text. Scanning. You can use the scanning technique to look up a phone number, read through the small ads in a newspaper, or for browsing television schedules, timetables, lists, catalogs, and web pages. For information, of course. For these tasks, you don't need to read or understand every word. Scanning is also useful when you don't have time to read every word. This could be when you are studying or looking for specific information from a book or an article you need to find it quickly. Tips for better scanning. Don't try to read every word. Instead, let your eyes move quickly across the page until you find what you are looking for. Use clues on the page, such as headings and titles, to help you. If you are reading for a stud, start by think up or write down some questions that you want to answer. It's always useful if you are doing a reading activity to read the questions before, then you go to the text to find the information you need. Now that you are prepared, you can read the text and complete the report for Molly and Alex using the information in this text. You're going to find this text on your student's book, page 18. You can pause the video and I'll be here waiting you finish this activity.
Have you paused? Okay.
1 hour later.
No. Oh, you returned. Great. So, how was it? Was it easy? I hope so. So let's check the answers. Here we go. So here we have for Molly. Check your answers, please. Great. And here we have for Alex. Correct. Good. All right. If it's not correct, please erase it and do it again. Okay, moving on. Have you noticed that in this text we are using a different verb tense? Yeah? Which verb tense is this? Present perfect. Exactly, present perfect. So we're going to use some sentences from this text to explain what is it.
We are going to use some sentences. We are going to use some sentences. We are going to use some sentences. We are going to use some sentences from this text.
We're going to use some sentences from this text to explain how it works and how can we form it. Here's the first sentence. You've probably heard of volunteers. Notice this construction. You've, it means you have. Have is going to be the auxiliary verb of this verb tense. And let's pay attention now to heard. Heard is the past participle of the verb hear. So you're going to have subject plus have or has plus the past participle. In this case, you have heard. You've heard. Let's now see a second example. Vacation Volunteers has offered a volunteerism program. Notice has offered. Again, you have or has as the auxiliary verb and the past participle of the main verb. In this case, the verb to offer. And the past participle is offered. Right, but now let's go deeper on present perfect. So we are going to have an overview of how to form the present perfect and also how to use it. But before we start, it's good to know the conjugation of the verb to have. So for singular forms, we have I have, you have, he has, she has, it has. And for plural form, we're going to have we have, you have, they have. All right, it's also important to know that we're going to have different forms for regular and irregular verbs. And it's advisable that you study the most commonly used irregular verbs. Now, let's get started. Take a look at these sentences. I have painted the door yellow. They have paid for dinner themselves. Both these sentences are in the present perfect tense. How to form the present perfect? Let's have a look at the regular verbs. For the regular verbs, we use the auxiliary verb to have, as I told you before, and the past participle. You can make the past participle adding ed to the infinitive form of the verb. Now, let's have a look at the singular forms. I have worked there. You have listened carefully. He has cleared the table. She has placed it on the floor. It has snowed. For the plural forms, we have walked to school. You have watched the tennis match. They have marked the tests. Now, we need to pay extra attention to verbs that end in an E, such as leave, close, wipe. For these verbs, we use the auxiliary verb to have or has and the past participle. But the past participle is made by simply adding an D to the verb. Look at the examples. I have lived here for quite some time now. He has closed the windows. They have wiped the floor. We also need to pay attention to verbs that end in a Y, especially those preceded by consonants such as spy and study, because we change the Y into an I. For example, he has spied on his neighbors. We have studied hard. Now, let's have a look at the irregular verbs. For irregular verbs, we also use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle. But for irregular verbs, the past participle has a unique present perfect form. Take a look at these examples. I have built that sheet with my own two hands. The infinitive form of the verb is to build. She has bought some flowers at the market. The infinitive form of the verb is to buy. We have run the marathon. The infinitive form of the verb is to run. Now let's have a look at the present perfect in questions. First, to the regular verbs, again, we use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle. Has she talked to him yet? Have you kicked the ball? Have they ever worked on a farm? For the irregular verbs, we also use the auxiliary verb to have and the past participle, but now the unique present perfect form. For example, has she quit her job yet? Have you ever driven a car? Have they ever paid for dinner? Let's have a look at the present perfect in negations. For the irregular verbs, the auxiliary verb to have, and we add not, subtracting it into haven't or hasn't, and the past participle. I haven't listened to the news. It hasn't rained since Friday. They haven't closed the window. For irregular verbs, we also use the verb to have. It's not contracting it into haven't or hasn't, and the past participle. For example, she hasn't quit her job. The infinitive form is to quit. You haven't ever driven a car. The infinitive form is to drive. They haven't paid for dinner. The infinitive form of the verb is to pay. Alright, but when are we going to use the present perfect tense? Let's have a look at the present perfect in use. We use the present perfect for things that happened in the past, but it's not important when they happened. I have been to Scotland. It's not important when I've been there. It's important that I've been to Scotland. They've decided to buy a car. It's not important when they decided. The decision alone is important. We also use the present perfect for things that started in the past that have continued in the present. For example, Bob and Jack have known each other for ages. Let's say that they met in the 1970s and they are still friends. They have lived there since 2011. So, they moved there in 2011 and they've continued to live there. We also use the present perfect when the following words are in a sentence. For, yet, never, ever, just, already, since. Here are some examples. I have lived here for 3 years. We haven't seen that film yet. Have you ever watched a football game? So guys, that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. Great, got it? Good. If you didn't, if you don't understand, please leave your comment, leave your message here or in the section called Questions and Answer Session, or if you prefer, Plantão Tira Dúvidas. Okay guys, that's it. That's the end of our class. Please don't forget to do the activities here below this video. Can you see them? Great. All right, and keep studying. I hope you are very well. See you in our next class. Kisses. Bye bye.